Yo, YouTube, did you hear that? That was angels singing. Angels literally sing when you buy an Infinity Custom 2011 or 1911. I mean, you saw it right there. This is proof. Angels literally sing. Ladies and gentlemen, the day has finally come. It's been over a year in the making. And the day has finally come when my 100% custom Infinity 2011 is finally here. I don't know that I have the words to describe how I feel right now about this gun. So real quick, just as a disclaimer, I am not part of Team Infinity. I probably never will be part of Team Infinity. I would love it if I could become that good of a shooter one day, but highly unlikely. That just came like that. Also, another disclaimer, haven't had a chance to shoot this yet. So I swung by Freedom Firearms yesterday on my way home from work, and I was elated to find out that this had finally shipped. I knew it was coming. I got a call a couple of weeks ago from Infinity. They said they were a few weeks out, but they didn't call me and tell me when they had shipped it. So it's finally here. I couldn't wait. I had to just do a quick tabletop overview of this. I'm going to try and get out to the range maybe later on today and get some rounds through this, and I'll break it in and I'll give you guys an update on that at a later time. But in the meantime, here she is. So for those of you that don't know, SV Infinity is a 100% custom 1911 and 2011 gun manufacturer. They manufacture all of their own parts in-house, and every single gun is custom made to order. So literally every single thing you see on this gun was chosen by me or was suggested by Brandon down at Infinity, and then incorporated into my design. So as you can see, this is their sight tracker model. So the front sight is actually attached to the barrel. It's a heavy bull barrel. This is in .40 caliber. And then you can see the slide is cut out to accommodate for that. It's supposed to lead to increased accuracy, and then the lightening of the slide like that helps for quicker cycling. So I actually started this process with Infinity back in, I think, June or July of 2015. They have a gun builder app on their website, and I highly recommend you check it out. It's free to use. You can start messing around and kind of designing, your gun. But I started on there, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's pretty overwhelming. I got on their gun builder app and started messing around with it, but there's just so many options. Every single little thing can be customized right down to the serial number. And I did my best, but I just needed some help. So after about a month or so of messing around on there, a few nights a week, I finally put in a call to Infinity, and they put me right on the phone with Brandon. And he's the owner down there. He's also their gunsmith. So they put me on the phone with him, and we had a nice discussion, and I kind of told him, he asked me what type of shooting I did, and, if this was for competition, and just kind of went through a little question and answer, and he made suggestions all along the way. So some of the suggestions that he made, as you can see, this safety lever here on the strong side here is larger. And he actually recommended that for table starts. So if you're doing if you're doing a stage where the gun is starting on the table, by having that lever be a little larger, it actually lifts the gun a little higher off the table. So it's a little easier for you to get under the gun and grab it when you're doing that table start. So he kind of had recommended that. And I said, yes, you know, absolutely. We talked about the weight of the gun. This gun actually weighs more than my all steel Wilson 1911. Unlike STI, they do share the patent, as far as I understand it. STI and SV share the patent on the 2011 frame, but Infinity will actually make the grips instead of plastic like STI. They'll actually make the grips out of aluminum or steel or stainless steel, I believe, so you can get extra weight. So this gun actually is weighing in at almost 3 pounds. It's, I think, 2.85 pounds. I'll get the scale out and measure it in another video when I compare and contrast it to my Wilsons. But so it's nice and heavy, and that's another thing that Brandon had kind of talked about, you know, using different components, is, you know, the barrel and the guide rods, and using different materials, stainless steel versus titanium versus aluminum. He can get the weight where you want it on the gun. All of that is kind of above my head, but I just kind of told him, you know, I wanted a nice gun in 40 caliber for USPSA limited, and we talked about my local matches and, you know, kind of how they're run and stuff like that. And he just took my design and made some suggestions and went over them with me, and he really spent a lot of time going over and explaining everything to me, and then we were able to come up with my design. So the order after all of that was actually placed on August 21st, 2015. And then I just received this yesterday in October. So it took about 14 months. And from what I can tell so far, well worth the wait. First of all, this slide is by far the smoothest slide I've ever felt on any gun. I just can't even, I don't even have words to describe it. The trigger, same thing. There's no words for the trigger. The trigger is by far the nicest, smoothest, cleanest braking trigger I've ever felt in my whole entire life. It's super light. I don't have a gauge. I wish I did, but this is by far the lightest trigger I have on all of my guns. I would say it's probably just as light or lighter than my Geisley Super Dynamic 3-gun trigger that I run on my ARs. I can't wait to get out and shoot this thing. The trigger is the best thing I've ever felt in my whole entire life. The craftsmanship on this is almost unimaginable. It's the most perfect gun I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes in my whole entire life. It is on another level. The craftsmanship is on another level. You can just tell that this thing is hand built. You can tell that this thing goes through the most rigorous build and quality control process. There is nothing that is not perfect on this gun. Everything is just absolutely perfect. These guys down at Infinity, I can't say enough. I'm almost at a loss for words. This is, if you're into manufacturing, you're into metalwork, you gotta get your hands on a gun like this and look at it. I mean, the level of craftsmanship is just beyond me. Every single thing on here is customizable. They can do anything you want. Like I said, down to the serial number. That's why I have the serial number blocked out. I did a custom serial number on there. It's amazing. You could choose the color of the trigger. You could choose the type of trigger. You could choose the size of the trigger. You could choose if you want a flat face. You could choose the grips. You could choose every single little thing on here they can do. There's not one thing I asked them to do that they said no. Not one thing. And that hammer there is kind of cool too. Sits flush with the gun like that. The grip safety has been pinned. They do have a proprietary safety here, lever safety, that changes, I believe, some of the internal components. And if I can get out actually their paperwork that came with it, I think they actually go over that. So it says here, the pistols include a billet infinity OptiFit thumb safety, which is an improved design which offers lockup of the hammer and sear for improved safety. So even though I had them render the grip safety here inoperable, they do have extra safety mechanisms that are proprietary to Infinity to make this still a safe pistol. This has all been scalloped and shaped out to actually give you a higher grip, and then same thing down here. So that's something that Brandon had talked about. Since it's a 40 caliber, he made it heavier and then also distributed the weight as such, and then get you that higher grip to give you a lower bore access. And their Infinity's pretty confident that this will recoil just the same as a 9mm. So I'm anxious to get out there on the range and shoot this. But that's all I have so far, guys. I mean, it's just pretty overwhelming for me right now. This is just an amazing piece of American craftsmanship. Everything is made in the USA. I mean, this is American craftsmanship at its absolute finest. I took some pictures of this yesterday and I sent it to a couple of my buddies, and a couple of them, they're not really into that, guns that much. But a couple of them were like, is that real? Is that a toy gun? What is that? So that's kind of cool too. You can see through. So real quick, I'm kind of rambling on here. I'll just go into the rest of the package. The only complaint I have so far about Infinity is they only give you one magazine when you order the gun. This gun was definitely not cheap. In my opinion, when you're spending over $5K for a gun, it'd be nice if you got more than one magazine. But STI is doing the same thing. I only got 2 with Wilson Combat. So that's my one complaint. I ordered 4 extra magazines on top of the one that came with the gun, and they're $110 a piece. So that's pretty expensive. And like I said, you're already spending a pretty penny for the gun. It'd be nice if you did get a couple of extra magazines. So you got the mags there. You got the Infinity pistol care and maintenance information. This is one gun that I'm actually going to have to clean because the tolerances are so tight, and they actually even give you their own blue lubricant. They go into specifics on not using anything that's too thin of a lubricant or anything that's too thick. So I guess just like Goldilocks, you want something that's just right. So they recommend using that. I got some extra Allen wrenches here for everything on the gun. I got extra blue grip tape for the Mobius cutout here, so I can rock the blue grip tape on there. And then obviously an extra fiber optic. Comes in this nice case, very nice Pelican case, fit for travel, so that's really nice. And so yeah, that's it. That's what you get with the package there. I'm going to try and get this to the range today, if possible, after my afternoon work here. And I'm going to try and get at least a few hundred rounds through this. Similar to Wilson, Infinity gives specifics on the break-in period and what bullets to use and how many and how to go through the break-in period. So I'm going to follow that for the first few hundred rounds and get this thing broken in. And I'll try and run this in at least 1 or 2 matches, or at least get it out to the range and do a really, really good, thorough range session with it. And then I'll do another follow-up video to let you know how it performed. So I'd say this is more of an overview, and the next one will be an official review. So there she is, guys, my new special lady friend in all her glory. As always, thanks for watching Sin City Guns. You guys shoot straight.